Good day, Tamers. Welcome back to some more fun with me, Get Swiftly. And still doing some rogue stuff, just so you guys have more options out there for BT11. Not everyone's going to get a chance to play Blackwall Greymon X, unfortunately. If you've already got your stuff sorted, then obviously it's different. But for those of you who are just joining the game and want something to play, and not have to spend £200+ to play the one deck that people want to play at the moment, there are options for Blackwall Greymon where you could play the less amazing Blackwall Greymons. But currently you kind of just want to play the BT8 version. That being said, let's jump to this with Jesmon. So, we're going to start with Gurimon. Now, this is the BT8 Guri, and that's because as soon as you get to your level 4s, you're going to get access to the draw power. Nothing really special about that. The only thing I'm going to say is that these are getting sort of like pulled off the market because they're so good in a lot of red decks right now. And just having access to that draw power is really good. As well as the fact that, unfortunately, there's no alt art for these because this was a Tamer set that got alts, so they are starting to spike in price. They probably are looking about like 150 per card, which is probably one of the most expensive babies you actually have currently shown on some of these. So like 3 of the original Hookmon, they're still quite cheap. We do know BT13 is going to be a Royal Knight set, which means there's probably going to be more support. There might be a new Hookmon, but as of now, these are fairly cheap. Pick up a playset where you can, or if not, just pick up 3. But this is the searcher for the deck. It's pretty good because you'll get yourself either a Hookmon in name, a Jesmon, or a Systemon, and depending on what you need, you can generally find something from the deck, and it's a very good search. It's probably one of the best searches you have in the game. Then we play 3 of the Hookmons. These from SD12, and essentially you leave them on the field, and they just gain you memory over the turn, because you constantly play Systemons on the field, because if through effects, or just because they have good resource guarantees like drawing or gaining memory. Hookmon itself, though, has if Digimon's Hookmon in its name or one of its traits, it gains 1000 DP. It's a very good card. It's probably worth more having it on the stack than it is having it just lingering around. But it's fairly good and better than people probably give it credit for. We play 2 of the Hookmons from BT7, and the reason for this is essentially the inherited effect of real top 5th cards of your deck. Add all the Systemons in their names to your hand. Place remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Not too terrible on the one attacking effect, and the best thing about Jesmon is when you do your inherited effects when attacking, you go from the bottom to the top. So you'll gain your draw, do your searches, gain your DP, play a Systemon. You just search for 5 cards and you found a Systemon maybe. Play a Systemon, get to Jesmon, do Jesmon's one attacking effect, play another Systemon, and just roll the ball from there. So, better in the stack if you're having issues finding your sisters. Going to play 2 of the Systemon Blancs. This is your blocking keyword if you have Hookmon or Royal Knights in its traits on the field, as well as gaining a draw when on play. So this is generally something you want to use just to get a draw. It's 3 cost, not too bad. Or with the effect of the other Hookmon, you do gain the memory back, so you are only costing 2, essentially. But you do use it with conjunction of the other effects in the deck. Then we're going to play the ST12 Systemon. And this one is, by trashing a card, you can draw 2, which, you know, it's a null card. So essentially you're running a 48 card deck because essentially you're getting 2 draws after you churn through. This is very similar to the Alphamon deck where you ran the newer Duramon that was trash and X antibody, its name, gain 2 draws. But all turns you get the decoy effect, so in this case if you get deleted by something you can just decoy it out. So bye bye Systemon, but thank you for saving me. Fairly good. It does come up in some cases, not too many, but it can be quite useful. And then for our last rookies here, you may have noticed that they're a bit light on the reds. Play 2 of the Solomon. I have seen people playing the Gauss instead to get around some other effects, but while we're in a X-Heart meta, still you do occasionally see it, including Blue Flare and Twilight. It's good to have something like this in the deck just in case you do need to get a floodgate on the field. It's probably one of the better ones currently, but it doesn't always work out as we wish it would. Next we're going to play 4 of the BT6 Bow Hookmon, and this is one attacking inherited effect. If you have a Digimon with Systemon in its name in play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less. Fairly good card. And it's just nice to know that, you know, 6000 DP, a slap a swing, getting a draw, and then when you're swinging through, it could just get rid of a blocker or just a searcher or something that you just ping to help out the following turn for your opponent. Then we're playing 4 of the ST12s. While you have a Digimon with Hookmon in its name or Royal Knight in its traits, gain 1000 DP. All turns, That's better than you think, because the amount of times that this will save you from getting deleted by an effect because you just have that 1000 extra DP at all times is fairly good. Again, it does also depend on what your matchup is. If you're going against something like Bloom Lord, then you might want to use the Bale Hookmon to just drop something on your opponent's side of the field. And for this one, essentially, you just want to make sure that you can punch through the security and have to worry about dying, because you are kind of squishy in this deck. You then play 2 BT10 CLs, and then unplay if it's your turn. One of your Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Roll Knights in its traits in your hand versus evolution cost. This essentially is going to go from either Jesmon into Jesmon X Antibody or Jesmon into GX. Now, this is more pure, so there's no GX, so there's no like mixing and matching with Gankos. So essentially, this is just more for you to get your piercing effects off and swinging into your opponent with X Antibody. And then your turn, once per turn, when one of your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon with Hook on its name or Roll on its traits, gain a memory. This does actually trigger when you Digivolve into the X Antibody, so it does help. And you know, there's a few times where you'll go like, oh, I gained a memory, oh, I gained a memory, oh, I gained a memory, and then it's still your turn, and you wouldn't suspend. It's fairly good. Like you'll make some plays with this deck. Original Systemon CL. So BT6 again. Any of these BT6 cards, pick them up now. They're fairly cheap. You can probably pick them all up for like $2 or $3 or a couple of quid off card market. All turns, all of your Digimon with Hookmon in their names or Roll Knights in their traits get 2000 DP. So yeah, your stack is always just going to be the extra 2000 DP, and then if you've got the ST12 Bale Hook, you've also going to have the extra 1000. So having 3000 DP always is a bit more menacing than people think it is. Then on play, gain their memory. If you're going to play this though by an effect, you know, it's not so bad. You can just gain a memory, and you also have the nice chicken tendies of 2000 extra DP. Systemon CL from ST12. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add one card with a hook in its name or Roll Knights in its traits. From your hand, trash the rest. All of your Digimon with hook in their name and Roll Knights in their traits scheme. Reboot. This is more so you don't just get like swung back on. Not necessarily like the best one. Like this is probably like one of the. This is probably like the worst of the 5. But currently, it is a very nice card, and having Reboot does help you not getting cracked back upon. But there are obviously ways of your opponent swinging into you anyway. You're going to play 1 of the Savior Hookmon. Yes, I'm aware it's not the nice EP3. Hopefully, we'll get one of those soon. But when Digivolving, you may play 1 Digimon card with System on its name from your hand without paying its memory cost. Again, this can be used to essentially push you into Jesmon, especially if you were going into your opponent's turn for memory. Or this could just be used to get something else to maybe put memory back onto your side, or just get an extra draw. Especially if it's very early, especially if it's like turn 2 and you give your opponent like 1 memory, it doesn't matter so much then. But that's fairly good. The inheritance effect though is if you have a Digimon with System on its name in play, you want to spend this Digimon once per turn. Again, there's a reason why this is at 1. It's very good, it's very consistent, and it will definitely ruin somebody's day. Playing 4 of the ST12 Savior Hookmons. With BT13 around the corner, I do suspect we're going to get something else in terms of this stack or the line. Maybe not better, but I generally like what we have here, and that is when Digivolving, the Digimon gains the ability to attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. So, very similar to the other good level 5 in the meta right now, which is the Metal Greymon that it's going to be using Black or Greymon decks. And I suppose technically like Machine Dramon. Swinging into your opponent, especially because you have access to piercing, is just really good. And then when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has Roll Knights in its traits, you may play 1 Digimon card with System 1 in its name from your hand without paying its memory cost. So you either do it when you swing, or with the other one you do it when Digivolving. But no, the card is very good, and it definitely sees enough play that makes the deck work. Now this is probably one of the very few cards in here that's quite expensive, so I do apologise. Playing 2 Chimeras, and the reason why is because there's not really any better level 5s currently. When we get to BT13, I'm hoping that obviously we'll get a better saviour, so that way you don't need to currently run Chimera, but the Chimera lets you suck up the Systemons with level 4, which is CL, and you can use those to Digivolve into DNA Digivolve into this, and then you can use this and you can swing, because obviously you can swing with DNA Digimon because they're not poisoned by summoning sickness, but we don't call it summoning sickness because we don't have a name for it. But you can't attack. You're going to play 4 of the Jizzy Boys. It's very simple. This is just your Mega. It's your Bane Mega. When Digivolving, you gain Blitz, and then when attacking, You may play a Digimon card with system on its name, and if you do, you gain security attack +1 and 3000 DP to the end of the turn. I'm just going to say, other than the fact that it's a good card, it's 12,000, it's not the greatest, but with this stack as it is and the Digimon on the field, you're probably going to be looking at like 18k when you swing in. Then we play 2 of the Jesmon X antibodies. Again, we don't play the GX package. This is technically a cheaper build because we're running the Chimeras, and they are like 10 to 15 pounds currently. So if you are interested in playing Jesmon or a deck that will have to run Chimeras, probably a good time to get them, as we know that will be printed for at least another year. Or in the English meta, at least another year and a half. I know, so Digivolve from Jesmon for 0. Piercing. When Digivolving, you may play one card with system on its name from your hand without paying its memory cost. And then if Jesmon is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you have a system on in playing its name, you will gain 2000 DP to the end of the turn, and you can attack unsuspended Digimon. It's a good card. Like, it's just what it does. You do drop yourself down by 1000 DP, but then you gain it back by getting the effect 2 of the Systemons. But, again, it's more just going up the ladder, getting a draw, getting the extra 1000 DP, swinging through, picking your opponent's Digimon that you can. You've got piercing, so you can go there. Play 2 ties. This is the only Tamers we play in this deck, and play 2 ties. Memory setter, so you get to have yourself free memory at the start of your turn at least, and because you'll have a stack of at least 4 normally, you will get access to Security Attack +1, so you get to swing out with Mr. Kai over here, and then Tai is just good. He's just generically the best red Tamer we've ever had, and I think they know they made a bit of a mistake because that's why we haven't seen anything as good yet. Besides kind of the promo hero that was awkward to get hold of if you lived outside of Japan. A delicate plan. You do die to removal. Obviously, we have the access to the system on that has the delay, so she can jump in front of things and take a hit from, let's say, a Hades Blast, or maybe it's Hades Burst or Hades Force. But a delicate plan obviously will let you swing through and ignore those things. Not necessarily needed now, but it's there as an option. You can take it out and you can maybe play a extra Tamer, or you can play an extra memory boost, which we'll get to in a minute. Then we play 4 of the From Master to Disciples, just because it's such a good card. It's a searcher. You can search for it in name, and then it has a delay effect, which will reduce your next Digivolution cost by 1. And then its security effect is essentially its main card effect, except then you can put it into the delay area. No, card's just really good. 2 cost, search, put it in your battle area, next turn, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. It's very good. It's a little bit too good, to be honest, but it does let you use this in other decks. So you could actually use it in a different Royal Knight deck, which we might see more of in BT13. And that's where you go. And then the last 2 cards for this deck is the red memory boost. This is the alternate art version. Don't get this if you obviously don't want to spend the extra like £14 on it. But get yourself the basic version. You can probably get a playset now for like £4, £5. But no, this is their for Jesmon. Essentially, this deck is probably like 40 to 50 in comparisons. It's not the cheapest of the budget decks, but it is fairly cheap compared to how much Black War Greymon X is going to be. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. And I've been a Gear Swiftly. More living in Rogue. We'll see you guys for Bloomlord. Have a good night. Bye.